applause is always good. We started the series a couple years ago with one goal in mind, to hear from and learn from our Gainesville regional leaders as they share their ideas and their plans and events that have helped shape their careers. We describe CEO InSights as part TED Talk, part conversation, part motivational speech, part leadership training, all rolled into one. So we've asked our CEO speakers today to share not only their ups, but their downs, their wisdom and lessons learned along the way. But before we introduce our speakers, I would love to thank BBVA Compass. Come on, BBVA, round of applause. If I'm not mistaken, they have always been our sponsor for CEO InSights. Is that correct, Robert?
Correct.
Okay. And with this series, we want to introduce Robert McDaniel, their market president. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Well, it's a real pleasure. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today? You know, it's funny because sometimes you do that and you get morning, But this group is always really fired up. So I'm really excited about that. And I think that many folks have been here many times and have heard, and really excited about today because there's so much to be gained from our speakers over this time period. And today is no exception. I'm really excited about that. I want to introduce my team from BBVA, and as I start looking, I see Darlene Morgan over here, Colleen Levon, Steve DeCula. Steve is an experienced banker, but just joined us with BBVA, so glad to have Steve. Dwayne, where is Dwayne? Way in the back. All right, everybody. I don't think I missed anybody, but I've got a great team. I'm really fortunate and blessed to have such dedicated people working for our bank and for our clients. And I want to mention, we rolled out our strategic plan a couple weeks ago. And it's interesting that the first pillar was improving the financial health of our clients. And I think that's really important to us. That's something we've been focused on for years, but we're really dedicated to that. And I think about what we're going to hear today about healthcare, but we think the financial health is also an important component of overall healthcare. And Colleen, I just introduced her, has an important role with our bank. She is our workplace solutions officer, and she works with a lot of our commercial clients, business owners in the area. She'll sit down with them and consult and find out what maybe the needs of their employees are from financial training or education standpoint. And then we have a curriculum. She'll come back and deliver the curriculum, some training classes. And also they get a package of services that are really exceptional as far from the bank. And that is really a perk for those employees. So if you've got employees, I would encourage you to talk with Colleen about having her talk with her and figure out maybe what we could do to help provide financial training for your employees. Many of us, like I remember I had a finance class in high school. I mean, who had a finance class in high school? More than I thought, but I tell you, a lot of our folks in their 20s and 30s probably didn't. And so they're really looking for information like that, and we want to help provide that. Because again, we think a key to the overall health is having comfort about your financial health. So I appreciate that, appreciate the team and your hearing that. But I'm excited today. I want to introduce our speakers. So Lisa Magary and Della Tuten have known each other for 25 years and have combined 8 degrees from University of Florida. That's awesome. So I want to know, do you have a card after the third one? Is the fourth one free, or is there any?
Absolutely
not. Okay. Not, so just now you know. You can go back with that, but they've been in business over 5 years ago. In fact, I remember sitting down with them about 5 years ago when they first started their company, and were sharing with me what their plan is. And they've got an innovative practice that's called direct primary care. And they've been very involved with the community. And Lisa serves on local boards, including the United Way Small Business Council, the Ronald McDonald Advisory Board, UF Entrepreneur Program, and the Newberry-Jonesville Chamber of Commerce. And Della serves on the Ronald McDonald Advisory Board as well, UF College of Business Entrepreneurs panel, and the American Heart Association, and Girls on the Run. Both are married. Lisa has 3 children, Cameron, 26, Paige, 17, and Naomi, age 10. And Cameron is getting married in a week, is that right? Okay, week and a half. All right, good news. And then Della is married with 2 children. Eli is 13, Emma is 10. They both enjoy traveling, family time at the beach, but also providing making lives better through amazing primary care. So it's my honor to welcome both of them to the stage. And Lisa and Della, appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Good morning. So we just have a couple of slides to talk to you about today. When Steve asked us to speak, he wanted us to kind of keep it light and kind of talk to you about what we've experienced over the last 5 years of opening this practice. And it's been really interesting. We're the first direct primary care here in Gainesville. And there's another direct primary care here in Gainesville that started about a year and a half ago. And a couple of people are here from their practice today, so we're happy to have them. And then there are a couple of direct primary cares in Ocala. So we think that this is the way that medicine should be done, and we're really proud to deliver and offer this kind of service because we think that we're a solution to a real need in general across the board.
Yeah, we serve over 200 companies in our area providing primary care service to their employees. We definitely encourage insurance. We are just primary care fees. And we know from statistics that 80% of what happens in healthcare happens in primary care. And if we can save people money on the front end and give them the time we need to be healthy, then we can save everybody, the whole system, money on the back. So we're very passionate about what we do.
So we appreciate you all coming out. We kind of try to always speak to our audience and address and tailor whatever we're talking about to the audience. So thank you, friends and family, for being here.
So we appreciate it. We appreciate you taking our last minute phone calls and saying, please come see us.
Yeah. So Lisa and I have known each other for 25 years. I was just a child.
Oh, but you saw it. I'm gonna give her a minute. She can carry on.
So Lisa is much older than me.
No, what she used to say is, I was still in high school and she was married. Now, in my defense, I got married at 20, and she was, I think, a junior or senior. But yeah, so when Cameron, who's 26, was running around the yard, she would come to my house for barbecues and stuff. So we've known each other for a very long time. If you had told me 25 years ago that we would have this amazing business, I would have been surprised, like, really? But we had lost touch for a couple of years and reconnected in our accelerated nursing program in UF. And kind of the rest is history after that. It was like, you know what, we need to open this and take care of people, and we don't want to deal with insurance because it costs everybody so much money and it's expensive to have a practice like that. So when I saw this model in 2014, I sent it to her and we were like, can we do it? I don't know, you know. It was funny because we didn't take a loan out because nurse practitioners actually can't get loans for practices, which is fine. It made us very resourceful. Our first exam table was off of eBay, and our husbands went and picked it up
In Jacksonville.
Yeah, and what did they say?
They called and said, "Do you know that this is salmon cake?" And that's not what the picture looked like, but
It was like beige.
Yeah.
So we need it, so bring it home.
Yeah, so we started off, that's how we started off. But, you know, Lisa and I intertwined over the years through our interaction through school. She went through a pediatric track and I went through a family track, and mine was a little bit longer. She got out, started practicing. And then I graduated and I was out practicing. I practiced for 10 years at a federally qualified health center in Ocala. And it's an amazing experience, and I call it the best 10-year residency I could have ever had anywhere or anybody could have, because the resources are limited and you are dealing with the most complex medical patients on the face of the earth. So it was a great experience. So Lisa contacted me and after she was out practicing in a pediatric ER for some years, and said, "Hey, I think I'm going to go back to school. You know, I can't fix these kids if I can't deal with the parents." So she went back to school, and she actually became my graduate student. And she spent. So this is Lisa and I together. So
Yes.
these are our daughters that are 2 months apart.
Yeah, and they've been best friends since before birth. That's what I'll tell you.
Yeah. So
That was actually the day before I delivered, because that's the kind of person person I am. I will literally be at work until I'm delivering.
Yeah.
So that was the day before.
Yeah. So that's us. Let's move on past this picture. So this is where we are now. These are our families. Lisa's family is up here. Introduce people.
Yeah, so Cameron is on the left, and then Paige, she does a lot of theater. This was her in the show with her high school. She did Francis. She's now 17. And then Naomi, who's now almost as tall as me, this older picture, she's in 4th grade and she's 10. And my husband Rob, he works IT for TV. He's a software developer running the software.
And then these are my people. Emma's 10, and then Eli's 13. He swims at UF on the Gator Swim Club. Emma plays softball. Travis is my husband. He's a fisheries biologist and he works for FWC. He's also a 2-time Gator graduate. So we have lots of wallpaper that we don't put up. They're all in the tubes. So that's us, and this is where we are now in our practice. So upper left is Dr. Rossi. She's been with us a couple years ago. Michelle Rossi is an internal medicine physician, and then the bottom 3 over here is Leah White. She's a family practice nurse practitioner. Hector Torres is a family practice nurse practitioner, and then Jennifer McConnell is a family practice nurse practitioner as well. And I've known Jennifer as well for about 25 years. She was practicing down in Fort Lauderdale, and I've been begging her for the last 4 years to come up, and she finally was like,
she kept giving us little maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have her. She came in August.
All right, click on to the next one on the top.
Okay.
And this is our current staff. They're amazing. So everybody from medical assistants to phlebotomists to administrative assistant kind of people, and they're great. And I think that this team is what makes us great. And our foundation is about really being of service, and I think that gets lost in medicine. I'm sure many of you have experienced, the world of going in to see a doctor somewhere and
Having a long wait.
not being able to get in, or having rude staff, and just not getting great care. And we kind of felt like this practice model would allow people to practice in the way they intended when they went to school in the first place. And I think any physician or nurse practitioner, DO, PA, whatever, can attest to that. And I think that's what's driving them out of medicine. A lot of times they're just sick of how people are being treated, how they're being treated by the overlords that the overlords that literally dictate the way that medicine's going to be delivered, which isn't really about practicing medicine anymore, or caring for people. And I think that most of us that go into this field, it's what we do. We love people and we want to take care of people and treat them well.
Give them the time that they need, because sometimes they just want to be listened to. They don't, just having that, it's so funny. So one of our topics we want to talk about was having staff. That wasn't something we thought was going to be as hard as it is. Finding the right people, keeping the right people, growing the right people, being good leaders. We have spent lots of time and energy and finances to become better leaders, because we know that's what our staff needs. We need to be able to help grow people. So even if they don't stay with us, they're better when they left than when they came. But I can tell you, it has been a challenge. And it's because we've learned a lot about ourselves. And we know that we're challenging to deal with, because we're both get her donors, let's go. And we have people behind us that are falling over, what's happening? And so we've had to spend a lot of time bringing them up and lifting them up and helping them to be better. But it takes a lot of energy and time, which goes to one of our other topics.
Well, I want to go back, and we are all, I think, in positions of leadership, but what does that mean? We want to be leaders worth following, but how do you do that? What does that actually mean, a leader worth following? And so we're constantly trying to better ourselves and learn from people. We belong to a group called Vistage. Dan is here, and he's somebody that's a great example, that I've gotten to know that, is running a company that's very successful. And there are other people that I get to look to say, what are you doing to, lead your team and be the best you can be. And I think that even if we're, still growing in that role as leaders, we at least have a purpose. It's a just cause. We have a just cause that I think that people are attracted to. We have people every day, physicians, PAs, NPs, DOs, all kinds of medical people that ask like, hey, what are you doing? Like, this looks amazing. Are you hiring? And that, to me, that is an affirmation of like that we're doing a good job and that we're really doing something worthwhile. And then the business community that has utilized our services, it's like, that's a constant, when we get feedback from people. So it helps us grow and be better. But I think that the people, employees, we want them to buy in and believe in what we're doing. But not everybody has that mindset. So it's been interesting trying to kind of comb through those, picking the right people, and we've gotten better at it. We've learned from a lot of people in the way that they, go through a process of picking.
Yeah, hiring. And you know what? It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be always the right choice. And then also people change, and sometimes when everyone else is growing, they're not. And being a leader that can say, hey, what's going on? How can we help you get to where we need you to be? And some people you can't help them get there because they don't want to change or grow. And that's been hard for us because we're so avidly entrenched in trying to be better and grow and do the right things by patients and employees and employers and our patients. And so it's been very challenging to experience that for sure.
And I think, one thing I'll add into being a women-owned business, right? So a lot of times, I think we have different standards as women, right? I think that when women are looked at differently, even though we're running this business and growing this business and doing all the things, we're still the primary, home people too. It's like, I'll be sitting at my house and there's like a million things going on. I'm working, I'm trying to get things done, and the kids will come to me and be like, can you help me? And I'm like, hey, listen, your dad's right there. What is your problem? So, it's like all the things that go with it. And I think there's different standards for women. We're expected to, you can see my hair's a different color. It's like you start getting gray and you look old, and, it's like, it's a thing. It's a real thing for us. And I just think it's a little bit more challenging potentially as a female business owner and leader, that we have different expectations and
and I don't know how you change a culture, because I think it's true too. I think we've experienced that. Even hiring Hector and having him come in and do marketing stuff with us, the response is different. It's just interesting. We've been able to notice that, and he's great. He's going to be an amazing addition to our team. We've had some providers reach out, and because we were all women, initially they were like, is this just a woman thing? Like, no, we just can't find, we can't find a good man. I took him to Vienna, and I'm like, we finally got a man, and everybody's laughing. And it's good because I feel like sometimes patients, especially male patients, are more comfortable with the male provider. So I'm really happy that we have him now. He's a great addition.
And we have given him some real experience that he's like, wow. So it's been fun to grow our team and watch it expand. The other thing that's been interesting is, we don't have a business background. Lisa and I both did other things, but I think that our experiences that we have in our history have made us very well prepared for this because, I think in a traditional medicine setting, a lot of times the providers are fed by insurance companies saying to the patient, oh, you're assigned to this practice, or this is the doctor that you get to go see. And in our setting, people don't know what we are, they don't trust us, they think that this is a fraud, and so we're out there pounding the pavement and trying to prove, over the last 5+ years of, this is a real thing and this is legitimate. Direct primary care started in the early 90s, and so it's not a brand new thing. We didn't create it, but we believed in it enough to take a chance. When we first moved into our first tiny little space, we didn't have any bankers that would give us money, and so we funded out of our own savings, and we basically had one employee that we paid from our own savings, and we worked our other practice jobs for about 1.5 years as we grew, and we didn't take a salary, and we poured everything into it. And we thought, well, this space is about 1,500 feet. We'll be living here with our families.
I'll get this wing, which wasn't a wing, and you get that wing. We'll put a shower in over here. We'll take they'll use this bathroom. We'll make that a shower. So, and what could we afford out of our home budget if this didn't work? And we had to have, we had to be able to pay it. But we did. We paid our first employee out of our home salary. We started with zero, literally. We had 0 patients, and now we have 2,500. And it's so humbling to me that we're trusted and that, people trust us to take care of their employees or themselves. And, we love that, and we take it very seriously. And our staff knows, these people pay every month to be here, and we are grateful for them, and we are going to treat them well. And we do, and people love it. They just want to be treated nicely. And in medicine, that's not always the case. They're not always treated nicely, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. I think, people see people running a business and they think they just were handed everything or it just happened. And it doesn't happen like that. We have clawed and climbed and cried and, all the things that have come along the way that have made us grow and be stronger and build, but no one handed us anything, and I think a lot of times
we're not lucky.
Right, we're not lucky. Sometimes people feel entitled, that it's you should be handed something, and we don't think that. We think that what we're providing is a true solution in the healthcare industry, because so many people don't have access to care, and we think that's wrong. And we're not going to wait around for the government to make a decision about the way healthcare should be done. That's not going to be a solution for anyone. And it doesn't, people want to look to other countries and say, look at this socialized medicine system, but they don't have, it's not scalable. It's not transferable. So what we are doing is we are stepped outside of the box, and we are providing a real solution now. And it's affordable, it's transparent, and it's the way medicine should be done. And we think, that, we're grateful that some people have great insurance, but it's, not for everybody, and it's not, it's not accessible for everybody. So we want to, and that's what we are doing, and we're happy and proud that other people are following in this path to make it more visible and creating opportunity for people to have real care and potentially, stopping the driving of ER visits and driving up these crazy costs. So, the people who do have insurance, it can stay more affordable, which is not for a lot of people right now. So,
we're happy that there's other direct primary care. There's plenty of business for everyone. People need great care. Greenville has, 270,000 people. So we are always happy that direct primary care is a thing. So we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's our very favorite topic, so we can talk all day. We're sorry.
So I want to go into talking to you about our funny experiences with patients, right? So this is a different model of practice, and we are very accessible. So I don't know, some of you probably utilize our practice and know how we work, but it's very personalized. And you have, when you are in a direct primary care, you actually have your medical provider's phone number, so you can text them. And its boundaries have been interesting. And I can tell you, we've gotten some really interesting pictures.
This is why we don't want the children to have I got one picture sent over, and I'm like, I need a little context. What part of your body is this, and what did you do last weekend? Those literally was the question.
Yeah. Yes, we have definitely had those experiences. I have opened my phone and been like, oh, I have to take a minute because it's shocking. Yeah.
And they're comfortable with us. I mean, we're grateful that they're comfortable with us, but sometimes it's like, whoa.
Yeah. And so we're back to boundaries. Sometimes there are no boundaries. But, that's something that we've learned along the way, is that we have to communicate and we have to be clear. We love our patients and we want to take care of them, but we do sleep, and we tell them that now. Because, in the beginning we were getting texts at 3 in the morning, hey, my toenail fell off. It's like, what? You do it 3 in the morning?
Or I couldn't sleep, so I was reading this article. What do you think? I am sleeping. I know you're not sleeping, but I am. So teaching people, because they didn't really. I mean, we still have this. People don't believe it's real. They don't think it's really a thing, and it is real. And we've been doing it for 5 years. And they test the waters. Did they really respond? Answer me. And once we tell our new providers, like, it's going to feel a little overwhelming at first because people are testing and making sure that it is it's a real thing. And so we feel like we've actually shown that to them. Like, yes, we are accessible, but we do sleep and we have children and we make dinner and it's not going to be a 3-minute response time and you might have to wait, 20 minutes. Oh my goodness. And so for people to understand that we are there and we care about them has made a difference. And us communicating what our boundaries are has also helped because we've, like Della said, had some interesting things about on work.
Yeah. I think in a regular traditional practice setting, a lot of times, what we also do well is that we, deliver on what we say. So, if you have an appointment time at 10 o'clock, a lot of times your medical provider in a traditional setting will be double and triple booked. So they're running behind. And you don't
it's
understand.
Not their fault.
It's not their fault, but you don't understand that. So we just don't do that. So we actually, if your appointment time is 10, you get in at 10. And
we stress a 7-minute. Like, I want to be the provider in the room in 7 minutes. I don't care what's happening. If they're running late, we need to know. But I don't want you guys up there chatting with each other while they're in the waiting room. Like, you can do whatever you need to do after their room, and the provider is seeing them. So they understand that service is really, we tell everybody, every job here is a sales job. It's all customer service. I know we're sending referrals and doing all these other things, but these people are important and our coworkers are important, and we have to remember how to treat them all the time.
Yeah, free market, right? So they have choices, and we like that. So it makes us stay up and doing a good job and taking care of people. But back to our partnership. So we started the practice. We really started in 2014 as we got things ramped up. But we created a partnership, and we have been advised. We've had great banking people. We've had all kinds of mentors that have kind of helped shape and drive what we're doing. So when we moved into our first little practice location, we were paying out of our savings, So we what hurricane was that?
Irma.
Okay, Irma came through.
Y'all remember Irma?
And Irma flattened our little space.
A tree. If you really want to watch the video of at the time and see our faces, it's on Facebook. So I think everybody should sympathize, watch it and sympathize with us.
I was super traumatized at that moment. I had refugees from Tampa, I had refugees from Fort Lauderdale, and they brought their kids and they brought their animals, and I was losing my mind. And then a patient sent me a video of our office, and I lost my mind.
So she's calling me, and she's so hysterical. I can't understand her. I'm thinking something's happened to one of her children. I'm like, has Travis been pummeled? What is happening? And I already knew she was stressed because we had been talking. And she sent me the video. She's like, I see a video. I was like, okay.
So we didn't have a practice location. It was gone. And the little attorney next door to us said, what's going to happen? They're like, they're going to come condemn the building. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, we're not going to get back in. So I took all those people that were refugees at my house, met with her. We moved in an hour. We moved everything out of our
everything out of there. We called a friend of ours that was a mover. We have such amazing people in our lives. A friend of ours that was a mover. We had a friend of ours that had a practice location that he had
surgery.
Yeah, it was a surgery suite, but he had exam rooms and he was renting them out. And so thank God he let us take over half of his clinic while we were trying to get our other building ready. Yep. Because we were supposed to move into the building we're in now in February because we were going to remodel for 3 months. Instead, we had to do it in 2 weeks and close early and pay rent on a building that was uninhabitable to make it inhabitable so we could get out of our temporary space.
So let me tell you how weird Gainesville is, right? So Gainesville is super weird. So Gainesville is super weird, and as we were kind of looking for new spaces, we Lisa's I called our realtor and we showed up, to this space, and it was Greg Johnson. And so Greg is
you did your 5 minutes, Greg.
Yeah. So Greg Johnson is a commercial realtor here in Gainesville, and we were standing there, and he's like, "Yeah, I look familiar." And then we were he's like, "I think you're my neighbor." Next door neighbor. He's my next door neighbor. We had lived in our house for about a year, but I'm going to Ocala. I'm working. It's crazy. I'm never home. So we figure out that we're next door neighbors, and he gets our closing date moved up. I
negotiates the lease so we can get in early, all the things.
Yeah, he totally saved us. Is an additional. This is the weirdness of Gainesville, right? So Greg saved us and helped us get in. And then we had this pit of a building, like an actual pit.
Crack this wide.
I call it the gateway to hell. So we had a survey, not a survey, an engineering company that came in and did the study to see if we were actually sliding on the hill.
Yeah,
right.
Bill was like, this building is sliding. And I'm like, I think it's okay.
Yeah, so we had now we've encountered at least 5 other business owners that they're like, we're like, yeah. So they come in now, they're like, man, you did a good job. So we literally, it was like all hands on deck, and it was amazing. The people that came out, friends and family, and all the people that we begged, they came and helped us get a building together in 2 weeks.
So we couldn't see patients on Thursdays because he had those rooms leased for those days. So we would see patients Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Of course, we're direct primary care, so we're taking care of people. I mean, Della's also been in a parking lot, during the trauma. So on Thursdays, we were really glad we could be in clinic because we could work on the building on Thursdays. And we had people coming in helping gut. We had people fold carpet. It was crazy. And they were working in shifts, and they were all talking to each other. Della and I didn't know who was on what shift. So grateful.
So Greg, got us an amazing deal on this building. And that's been another part of our story is that we've had to create a separate holdings company. And, again, it's us scraping together, taking our line of credit, thanks Kevin Brown, our line of credit that we can borrow from to make payroll. We're not there anymore. I can tell you that.
But we live that life a little bit.
Yeah, we live that life of we gotta move money around to make payroll, and it's scary, but those are the things that people don't know, especially if, when you have people that just think that it's all smooth and together. It's been, but we've always had each other, which has been a good thing. I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't want a partner, I want to do this by myself. Well, good luck to you, But sometimes when the stuff's hitting the fan around, for whatever reason,
and we alternate who's freaking out. It's perfect. It's one's the calm and it's gonna be fine. And it goes back and forth. It's not she's always freaking out. No, it's she's why is this my turn to be calm? I should be freaking out right now. I'm I don't know why it's your turn, but I'm glad you're calm,
And sometimes you look around when you're in these situations and you're like, where is
the grown up?
And
who is the adult? We're the end. We're it.
Yeah.
All we have to do with this is so sad.
Yeah. So it's been interesting, and we've had some real interesting things that have happened over the last 5 years. Some really unfortunate, and it's embarrassing some of the things that have happened, and we're totally ashamed that but we've learned things, So we hired this woman. Now we do criminal background checks.
This was really, really busy. We didn't think that was going to be a problem. We were so nice. So please don't think we're super dumb. We're not. I promise. We've learned a lot.
But these are the things. I think even if you've had all the business experience in the world, you just don't know these things. And this woman was, highly recommended, and she was a soccer mom, and blah blah blah. Had all this experience, and then I was like, hey, I really need a copy of your driver's license. I need to get some things set up for you.
Payroll.
So she brought me this folded up card, and I was like, hi, I think this expired in 2008. She's like, no, that's an 18. And I was like, it's 2015. No, it says it expired in 2008. So turns out she was a convicted felon with drug charges. I was like, oh,
3 DUIs and didn't have a license.
It was so bad.
Illegally, and I was
So, I think that sometimes we recommend people, we don't really know them, because the person that recommended obviously had no idea. And that's super uncomfortable,
We're not taking your recommendations anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You have lost all
credibility. But yeah, these are things that you would never, you could never plan on. You could never think for 1 second.
And even in our new building, we had a flood.
Yeah.
Came in on a Sunday, and we had 2 inches of water in the building, and this toilet that we had plumbers in 3 times.
We know all the plumbers in these.
We do. Yeah. But we had to change out all the flooring. We had those loud fans. But guess what? We told the staff the show goes on.
Yeah.
It can be a junk in the back, in the front. Everybody's happy and smiling, and we're getting everything taken care of because that's what we do and that's who we are.
Yeah.
And they were like, You know,
we go to these Vistage things, leadership. I think it was Dan Quiggle, something like he was the advisor to Ronald Reagan, and he was at one of our talks, and he was like, you know, no matter what's going on, it's showtime. And so, like, I carry these little like mantras with me when it's like all falling apart behind me. I'm like, it's showtime.
we're on, you know. She'll text me or I'll text her. It's like, okay, it's all gonna be fine. We're gonna do this. We've survived every single thing. We're gonna survive this too. And so
I'm gonna tell them
Sure.
So this is another embarrassing one. How much time do we have?
How embarrassed do you want us to be, really, is the question.
So this is something that we've also learned. So we had this physician contact us before Dr. Rossi. So it's been more than a couple years. And he was like, hey, you know, I've been through this, you know, situation. My wife and I got divorced, but I really love your model of practice. And would you ever consider, you know, bringing a physician on? And we were like, of course, you know, like, of course. So he's like, I can, you know, bring patients with me. I have patients now. You know,
Closing my
I'm
practice.
closing my practice and I'd like to come on. So we are idiots and we didn't do our enough due diligence, but this person came on and he was with us for a couple months, and then he contacted Lisa one morning and said, I have to go turn myself.
No, this is not, wait.
Okay, you tell it.
So he called and he goes, you're going to need to move my morning patients. And I was like, oh, what's going on? He goes, I'm going to turn myself in on federal charges. I've been indicted and I may be back by the afternoon. I'm like, no, you're not. Oh my gosh.
So then the next thing is started calling, and I said, I'm so sorry. He's not affiliated with our practice.
As of this morning at 7:30.
So the only people that connected his name to our practice was, no offense to anybody here that's connected to them, but it was UF News. And I told someone, we're going to record it on UF News, and they're like, that's where news goes to die. Don't worry about it. Like, no one will ever know.
Right.
So that's been an interesting, and he brought some like interesting patients with him that we have slowly had to hang out. You know, those patients, anybody that's in medicine, you know, you have patients that are like not the right fit for you, and you have to kind of help them
find the right place, because there's a good place for them, it's just not with us.
Yeah, not with us. So we have the Gainesville office, which is 6,000 square feet. So this is the other part of our holdings company and how we've grown. It's, you know, property is not our focus, but we have tenants. So we have an MRI company that's a tenant, and what I love about them is that they have $1 million machine that they can't run away with. Because they had to take out
best tenants ever.
Yeah, they're like perfect. So they're gonna pay their bills.
They're like, don't come to the office this weekend. There's gonna be a crane, and the side of the building is gonna be off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So I mean, they put it all back together, but I was like, so I had to go see it, of course.
Yeah, we videoed it, but they built it all back together this time. So I was like, I hope that thing's not too heavy because it might just slide us out. I don't know if some of you know where we are. We're right off Magary in Park Avenue, which is at 57. Larry's near us.
Yeah. So it's not slid off the hill. We were worried. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to see the where the hole was. We had it all filled in. The survey said it was fine. But with the flood, the positive that I saw was like, well, at least we got to open up the area that had been covered in flooring and saw that the hole isn't opening back up. So we were really happy about that. It's like, see, this is the positive. We get to make sure that the building is safe.
We went to one of the ribbon cuttings that for the chamber, and it was our friend Joe Walker, and he's an architect here in town. And I kept seeing this guy, and I was like, Jay, how do I know this guy? I was like, oh, you're the guy who did our engineering survey. He's like, yeah. He's like, is your building still there? I was like, good to know. Yeah, thanks. He's like, I guaranteed it for like 5 years. Has it been 5 years? So anyway, that was fun.
It's all fine. It's good.
So it's been fun because Greg got us such a great deal and we got it reevaluated. So we have like this real estate stuff now, which is super fun.
We have a building in Alachua that we purchased and made pretty again. It had been
It's next to Brown's Buffet.
Right, everybody knows where Brown's Buffet is. It's a great, landmark. But it was Farm Bureau, and it was, they've been in it 17 years, and I don't think they'd ever hated or
and I
changed
think
the
it
light
had
bulb.
to have been built in like 1940.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole. But we made it look nice.
It looks much prettier now. So having real estate has been kind of an interesting, neat thing, and having tenants, we've kind of learned about that. We have amazing tenants. We have a chiropractor too in Gainesville, and then we couldn't get a medical person out in our Alachua location, which was kind of a bummer. But we have a flooring store, and he says his business has tripled since he moved in, so we're happy that he's being successful in that location. I feel like he gets a lot, because of Browns, he gets a lot more walk-through traffic that he wasn't getting when he was like a mile down the street. So.
And logistically, what the real estate has done is allowed us to have some cash flow. And the Alachua building, even though we've only owned it for about a year and a half, we have a cash offer on it, which, we're considering, but then it makes us maybe have to buy something else, which I'm not opposed to, but it's just, always an interesting, Kevin wants us to do it, right? But
it was like another loan.
Yeah, but it's been fun, and that's kind of our goal, is that we want to, how much time do we have? I think that what this experience has done, it's been beyond our wildest dreams that we get to do this. I think that people look at us and they're like, man, you're brave, you're nurse practitioners to go and do something like this, and we think like, well, why not? Why not do it? Why not, be like a trailblazer, because that's who we are. And I think that it's exciting, the prospect of having more people do this model of medicine, but like continuing to grow and build it and expand. I mean, we're looking into Jacksonville right now. We're looking into Ocala because we've been called to do that. We have businesses that say, hey, would you do this? And back to the people. The people is the hardest part, because you have to find the right heart for what we're doing. And it's about being of service, and it's about, it's a purpose-driven life. And it's about doing it for the right reasons, because anybody that's going to choose to do this, it can't be about money. I mean, we're definitely, we're making this affordable and transparent. This isn't, and no offense to any insurance people, but we're not a giant insurance group. And, we want to do, that's what we want to stay away from. And we want to, not ever get involved with people who think that is like the way to do it, because it's wrong, and we feel that it's wrong. But the idea of getting to do this is beyond what we could have ever dreamed of. It's just like next step, and it's been super fun.
And I feel like we've been welcomed. It's been great. We've had some challenges with, like, is this real? And are you going to do the thing? And we're like, yes, it's real, and we're happy to do this, and we want to take care of people, and we want to spend the time at new patient appointments an hour. And if we know somebody has a lot of stuff going on, we'll walk an hour and a half. And if you come back in and you've had an acute issue and you just need to talk and get a plan, we're going to take an hour with you, and we're going to talk to you on the phone later that day or the next day when you need us. And I feel like people get better when they know someone cares about them, and it keeps them out of the hospitals, and it keeps them out of the urgent cares. And, I mean, that means a lot to me. I want to save people money. Like, we're passionate about that. Like, we have wholesale pricing on labs and medications. I had somebody crying because it's like, my medication was $190 and it's $6 here. It's like, why is it $190? I mean, we pay wholesale pricing, and that's what we pass along. Like, we don't have any special, deals. I mean, CVS and Walmart, they buy so much more than us. I'm sure that theirs is less than what we pay. But we know that people need things, and they need access, and they need it to be affordable for them. And so that's what we've created, and we feel blessed and almost undeserving, almost humbled by how amazing it's been. And
I do want to go back to the beginning of something, because Edward, and so we're not obviously following the script here, but Edward is gift certificates and more, and so he and I are in a networking group together, along with a couple other people in this group. But what I think that has been interesting is he told me right before we came in here, he's like, I'm always interested in like, how'd you build it? Like that show, like how'd you do this? How'd you build it? And I'm interested in that too, and so it kind of got me thinking about like talking about that here, because it's like we weren't fed by an insurance group, right? So we were the ones who had to go do it. And, it was kind of like, I felt like when we took off and did this, we still had the security of having jobs. So I was like, if it fails and we can't do it, we have the education in the background that we'll be able to sink back into this terrible system, but
We're gonna find a job. We're not gonna, like, our family's not gonna be.
but I knew that once I stepped away, I couldn't go back. I wouldn't go back. So Lisa and I haven't always been like purebred medicine people, and I think that's what makes us like good at what we're doing here. So I used to do major good fundraising. So that's when I first graduated from school. I worked for a non-for-profit down in Miami, and then I came back for Travis for graduate school, and I took a position with the University of Florida Foundation doing major good fundraising as a development officer. And so that's sales. It's sales and marketing. So when we started this practice, we were like, let's just like we looked at chamber list. I think we joined pretty quickly, but we just started like cold calling people, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So Carol Doak is here, and she was like, on one day I went to Carol Doak's Mini Maid, I went to the Trophy Shop, and I went to another wood park, and I closed 2 of 3, and I was like, yes.
Not that we want a cold call.
Yeah.
That's not what we're gonna do.
But I talked to Carol and I was like, hey, this is what we're doing. And she was like one of the earliest adopters. Like, if I go back and look, she was like one of the earliest. And then the same with Proactive Tax and Accounting. We, hooked up with them, and they called up and were like, hey, this is really good. Like, we're interested. So it kind of grew organically, but it no one handed us anything. I mean, it is hard. I am not a public speaker. This is like my biggest fear, but you have to get over it, And so we would go out and just, kind of reach out to people, and some people were like, no.
Or not now, or this doesn't seem real,
But then you come back around.
yeah, 3 years later, we're ready. We're like,
Yeah.
yes. And I have always told people that, like if it's not the right time or we're not the right one, that's fine, but we're not going anywhere. And whenever you're ready, we're here, and we want to serve you and take care of you. And so, I used to work for KCI, the wound vac, and so when I was working on my postmasters in family while I was doing my doctorate, I needed a flexible job, so I got that job. So I got a lot of sales training because it was a sales position. So I was out in doctor's offices and talking to nurses and all that stuff about educating. So I feel like that experience and that specialized training really has helped with what we do too.
I had a comment that a little more in it. After I make that amazing deal on building
You're taking more than 5 minutes, Greg.
you guys had, I believe, if I remember this correctly, a sign on the wall that showed all of the medical procedures you cover.
Yes.
Whether it be an earache or a cut or whatever it is, it makes common sense. And then they had another chart either on the wall or a pamphlet that said these are the rates based on your age or whatever. Monthly rates, and it's all easy to understand. I understand your system. I understand what I get for X amount a month, which is not very much. But if I had a cold or an earache or a cut, I know that you guys take care of it. And I think that that's brilliant to make it simple.
Yeah.
And
That's what we want, transparency. And we do everything from acute issues, like you said, earache, strep throat, to chronic disease management. And, our practice that we'll refer you to the specialist. And so, somebody else had a question.
Yeah, hi, Alan Steinhardt with Nurses Network. I'm actually very familiar with your model. I was the commissioner of Dr. Michael Bernard in Fort Myers, and I'm currently in competition.
That's okay.
But,
We're glad you're with direct primary care.
right, it just makes no sense that there's my question is, as kind of a disruptor in your space, have the traditional systems been a hindrance to your growth? Do you get a problem referring someone to a specialist?
No, they're pretty grateful for us because a lot of times our patients have high deductibles, or they have healthcare sharing, or they're not insured, and they know they're going to get cash. It's harder to work with the SHAN system just because they want people to have insurance because that's what works with them. But in the smaller practices, we help the patients negotiate a good rate, and we have people we can call and say, hey, this is going on. And sometimes I can get them in that day. I mean, a referral where you can get in that day. I mean, I had somebody they sent me a picture of their swollen finger. They had an injury. They got their tetanus shot, their x-ray, their MRI, their treatment plan, their labs, all by 4 p.m. He texted me at 10. Everything was done by 4. You can't get that anywhere else. You know?
And I want to go back to something you said. So I don't think that we don't look at anybody who's doing this as competition. We were the first people to do it here. So, but I will tell you that what I love is that anybody that's going to do it and do it well with the right purpose, and like not for direct primary care name, it raises visibility. It raises credibility, and that's what we want to do. We think that this is a great way to deliver care to the community, and so we don't look at other practices. Now, if they're idiots, we do. We don't want them to hurt us, you know?
Any of us. We don't want them to hurt like our practice or other good practices.
A joke.
Yeah.
Under your model, you can only provide that level of care for so many patients in a given day.
Right. Which is why we've got 6 providers now, because as it grows, we add a provider. As it grows, we add a provider. And, you know, we've been doing it long enough. We're like, oh, okay, you're getting to about 300. We got to find a person. And it has to be the right person. We start when they're at 300 because it takes a while. You have to, and you know, we made bad hires with people we thought were going to be a good fit, and they weren't. They talked a good game, but when it came down to it, it just wasn't the right thing for them. And you know, sweetly letting that go and saying, "I'm so sorry, this isn't going to work," is what we had to do. Huh?
I watched Rebecca go through that before hiring.
Yeah. We have amazing people right now. We're super grateful.
If you know Dr. Brown, you know Dr. Brown?
No.
Oh, okay.
And Fort Myers. Yeah, I mean, she's
Gulf
cool.
Coast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But she was, I know that my doctors know her, they mentor them.
Hey.
But she has my daughter has an extreme facial response. She passed out seeds. We did in Dr. Bernard's office.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
Is that from
kinda-
doing
she's kind
lab
of
work?
famous. My daughter's kind of famous on EBC.
Oh, nice.
Dr. Bernard says, this is the worst facial response I've ever seen.
So, you know, the other thing that we love is that we have graduate students. One of our graduate students here, Linda's here with us, and it's fun because, you know, we get to share this
The other
model.
side.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times people come out of school and they're like, oh man, this is like,
30 patients a day, and I can't go to the bathroom, and I won't get to eat lunch, and I have to do charts at night.
yeah. So
You know?
we get to share this, you know, opportunity with other people. And, you know, we're really excited to be able to do that, and grow the model. So,
Do you want us to ask for questions?
yeah,
Okay.
questions?
Yeah, if anybody else has questions or comments or.
Holly.
You mentioned a lot of challenges that you have along the way, or maybe unforeseen. Have you had any benefits or like anything?
Oh yeah, of course. We were told to talk about like the, you know, kind of the dark side and not make it all fuzzy and happy and warm, and so we didn't have to dig very deep to get to that. But yeah, we've had, you know, we're at a point now where we'll have companies sign up and we've never even talked to them. They've just heard amazing things, and you know, we have a staff member that manages our corporate accounts and gets them signed up and gets them scheduled and takes care of them. So that's always interesting to me. I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, we've been patients there for like a year, and I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like a jerk because when we first started, I knew every single person, and now
It's a machine.
yeah, now it's a machine, and it's like, yeah. So that has been amazing, just the word of mouth and the support of the business community, and you know, they're like, yeah, our insurance went up another 20%. What are we going to do? And like, we can help you with that. We take care of the primary care piece, and then you know, the insurance is only paying for the specialists or the labs or the meds. But a lot of times, even your copay for your meds with your insurance card is more than at my office.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like 67 cents at my office or $10 at CVS with your insurance. So, you know, we tell people, whatever's the most affordable for you, we're not making money off of medications. So if it's more affordable for you to get a coupon on GoodRx and go to Walgreens, please do that. Like, we just want what's best for the patient.
And the win, I think the wins for us are like the people that like come and actually are like, you saved my life. You know, you changed my life. And that's been like, that's what makes it honestly like all worth it.
You've heard that.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Jason from Mosquito Joe, who's awesome by the way. If you have mosquitoes, he's your guy. But he's in BNI with me. He's actually got a sub and missed today to be here, which is super sweet, and I appreciate so much. But there's somebody in there who stands up, and every time I do my 8-minute presentation, he's like, Lisa saved my life. She got me the cardiologist the day I had a problem, and I had surgery in 2 days, and I would be dead if it wasn't for her. And I mean, he says these things, and I'm like crying, and I'm like, please stop, But it's true, and it's what we do, and people need care like that. I mean, they just do. They just need somebody who knows them, cares about them, has connections, and can get them taken care of as soon as possible.
And it's cool with the medical providers that are like, I was going to leave medicine, but I get to do this now, and it's like awesome. And that's a win every day for us because they are doing it for the right reasons. Those are the kind of people that we want. Yeah.
She kind of grazed over that, but that gentleman, like, your guys' texts, like, he was like, well, I think I kind of have like a chest pain. You guys, well, let's check it out for sure. And then, a regular doctor would do that, EKGs and all that stuff.
It was all that.
It's awesome. That dude really had his chest opened up after that.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah.
From
primary
and we
care.
have great relationships with specialists here in town that we cold called and said, hey, can we meet with you? And they're used to people showing up, but we were different, and it's like, can you take our patient's cash payment? Yeah, heck yeah. And so like a lot of those people, they're like, here's my cell phone, just call me directly. Dr. Green is a cardiologist here in town. He's been wonderful. Dr. Patel, yeah, Dr. Patel, hematology, oncology. So we have great relationships that we form with people, and we're really excited that we get to do that. And yes.
So do you feel like y'all are more open to the whole person wellness, alternative medicine than strictly just antibiotics?
Oh yeah, we do a lot of educating. I feel like, as nurse practitioners, we're really trained a lot in that way. So if somebody comes to us and like, I don't want antibiotics, we're okay to wait a couple of days, or let's bring you in and check you again tomorrow, or whatever, so that, or let's figure out why you're sick every other week. Like, is it your immune system? Are you not sleeping? So I feel like we do ask a lot of questions. I've had patients cry because I'm like, what do you do for fun? And they're like, nobody's ever asked me how to do for fun,
And a lot of times that's it. People just need to be heard, and they've never been heard, and we're happy that we have the time to do that. So, looking around the room, I don't like public speaking, but I feel like sitting in this group, everybody that's in here, like, you're my friend or my family. And Lisa and I, when we started, we would get up early in the morning and go see patients in our tiny little office, and then drive to Ocala and see patients for 10 to 12 hours a day, and then come back and see patients at night. But that wouldn't have been possible for us. We had little kids, but we have amazing support family. My mom's here, Lisa's mother-in-law's here, and like sister, and we wouldn't be able to do it without that support. I think that it's incredible what we had the opportunity to do because of our families.
But we did not do this alone. This has been a big community.
Yeah.
It's been a community event. It's
and we do have accountants, and we have support, and we have people advising us. My mom wants to retire. She's doing our QuickBooks, and she's like, you have to find a person. You're too complicated now. And this is I retired.
We're not ready.
Yeah, and she's like, and I have to go home and do the laundry. And I'm like, all right. So yeah, so we appreciate everybody and all of you that have been supportive and utilize our services, and through your businesses and
or refer us to people that need good care. We appreciate that so much.
Yeah, we have so much gratitude for the chamber. You guys have been nothing but amazing. And Steve, thank you for letting us be here today. I know that you didn't have enough speakers, so thank you.
We have a question.
Yeah, so I appreciate your dynamic partnership rather than going solo. Obviously, that's what started for you too. But how did you know that you would be a good partnership? Because you could be great friends, great whatever dynamic relationship. Business is so different.
Oh, we're not friends.
I have to tell you a funny story. So this guy came in to interview for a reception position, and he was super sweet. He was like, so how long have you guys been best friends? I mean, they're like with each other, like, we're not best friends.
Yes. No, so back to your question. So I think that because I've known Lisa as a young child, our lives have continuously done this. and we've had touches in our lives where we keep, and she's watched me and I've watched her, and I think that like the steadiness, that we have continuously come back to, and we know who we are, like ethically, morally, foundationally,
which is really key. Like we have like trust. We have to. I mean,
it's like marrying somebody. And even my husband is like, you're married to somebody else, right? I'm like, yeah. So I was like, are you okay with that? He's like, yeah. So, but we are. It's a partnership. Like I think that
it would actually be more expensive to divorce her than my husband. Just saying. Not that I want a divorce. I love her, but I'm just saying.
But I think the partnership has. I mean, I couldn't have picked a better partner. I mean, there's like no one else and that I would have ever been able to do this with, because it's been so incredibly tough. I mean, it has. It's been tough.
It's been really, 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 really rough moments, and sometimes both of us were like, wow.
But how we settle a disagreement, just so you know, it's
rock, paper, scissors, no.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it, so I never win.
Whoever is the no is the no. Like if somebody says no, that's it. And
so sometimes it's me, sometimes it's her, and that's it. And it's just an acceptance and a trust that,
And sometimes we reach out to people that we trust that are advisors, and that we say, hey, can we meet with you and get an opinion? And then we still have to make the final decision, but we oftentimes reach out to people to help us and guide us. And that's why we've been a part of these networking groups and a part of the Vistage group, and just different things that have brought us to people that have given us so much support and guidance and growth. Okay, we'll stop talking. I think Keith Watson's gonna finish with a joke, but I'm just.
Keith, you have a joke for us?
Later.
Okay.
It's not my contract.
That's okay. Well, hey. With us, you can always jump in. So we appreciate you, Keith. Everyone, let's give a great round of applause for Lisa and Della. We thank you both for your bravery, your passion, your care for our community, and your vision to move forward, because we know that we have to move this needle with healthcare, and you guys are a bright light in our community helping us get there. So thank you again. At this point, I really want to thank Robert McDaniel and the staff here and the whole team from BBVA. Please stand. Let us acknowledge you for your constant support. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing all of you at our next CEO Insights. And just thank you again for being here.